Hey everybody, and happy Wednesday. Looking a little bit different, but thought it was time for some change, and I like it. My husband did pretty good. Last year he did a quarantine cut, and this year he did a quarantine color. So for later this week, we'll be having ground pork in our tacos, corned beef brisket for Wednesday, and then tomorrow we're gonna have salmon, but I don't lay it out until later. As you saw in the earlier clip, you can tell that we really enjoy our ButcherBox meat. We're not sponsored in any way or affiliated other than that we are just normal customers for ButcherBox. And a way that we are getting ready to transition back to civilian life is sticking to a strict grocery budget. And one way I do that is by setting myself a limit on my monthly box. I pick out our 6 cuts of regular meats, and then I do any additions up to my personal limit that I've set for our budget that month. And then I toss it all in the freezer and we eat through that. Now, we've been subscribed since October and we really enjoy it. Our favorite cuts so far, the tri-tip, the salmon tastes like you just fished it straight out of the Kenai yourself. And we have had fresh salmon when we lived in Alaska. So that's a very good comparison if you're leery about buying frozen salmon from a meat subscription type thing. Our other favorite is the thick cut pork chops. We are also Bacon for Life members, which was a promo that I added back in December, and just means that I paid X amount of dollars. So every box from here on out for the lifetime of our subscription, we get a pack of bacon. And then I've recently added to this box ground beef for life. So we'll get, I believe, 2 pounds of ground beef in every box for the duration of our membership until we cancel. And that means we'll also still get the bacon. So you can add these things on when they offer specials. They offer specials and additions, member deals, and add-ons quite frequently. In addition to our 6 regular cuts, I add ground turkey for my husband because he enjoys doing that for when he meal preps for work through the week. So these are things you can take into consideration and tweak, but I think it's a real good value for our money. The meats are all non-hormone, grass-fed. The bacon is Whole30 compliant, which is a big thing for a lot of people looking to making sure that there's no extra ingredients they don't want in their food. So if you're looking for a clean, healthy alternative for grocery store meat, I would suggest ButcherBox a try. So we'll also be firing up the grill probably 5 out of 7 days here in the next month and throughout the summer because we really enjoy grilling out and just having meals where we don't have to heat up the kitchen because for the last 5 summers, we were ingrained to not heat up our house during the summers because we didn't have air conditioning in any of the houses we lived in Alaska. So this is a big change, actually having AC, and we didn't come in the hottest part of the summer last year. We arrived in southern Kentucky at the end of August. It was still warm, but we didn't have like the dog days of summer experience. So we're reacclimating ourselves back to lower 48 weather. Also, sprinkled in these vlogs, other than money saving tips, I'll also be sharing some things that we're dealing with as a family transitioning from active duty military back to civilian life. My husband is currently going through his ACAP classes now because he only has about, I don't know how much time. I think November is our transitional period back to civilian life. But also we possibly could be looking at a med board for him just because of some ongoing medical issues. And we're wanting to get all that squared away. So it could look either way right now, but we're preparing as best we can for that. And like I said, one way we do that is sticking to a strict budget for our groceries, and all 90% of our meat is coming from ButcherBox. The other things are like lunch meat that I pick up at Aldi for my son because he eats lunch here at home for homeschool. And if he doesn't eat leftovers, he'll typically eat a sandwich. and then some specialty sausages and stuff if I'm wanting to make a different recipe. And if I can't add ground lamb or lamb chops or anything like that to my ButcherBox, I'll pick those up as well. Bella stole my chair when it thundered, but I'm going to go back in time to Sunday after church and share with you a new to us recipe that we tried out. It's Big Mac Sloppy Joes. It went over well with the kids. My oldest doesn't like pickles or onions, but he picked it out and ate it anyways. So check that out. Another good thing about that Big Mac Sloppy Joe is if you are vegetarian or vegan, and I have a lot of friends that eat both of those ways, you can supplement the ground beef or ground turkey with a traditional recipe and use a meatless crumble, whatever, faux meat, and approved mayonnaise and Thousand Island dressing to your liking and make it compliant for your diet. You can also switch the buns off to gluten-free if you need to do that as well. So it's pretty easy, interchangeable recipe, and I'll link the original recipe down below. Welcome to What Are You Reading Wednesday. I've got a stack of books, some that I've picked up from the local library here, and others that I've ordered either from Amazon or separate sites online, and I'll tell you each about where I've got them all. Ember and the Ice Dragons by Heather Fawcett. And Ayden and I have been reading this one, I think, since the end of January. I've really taken my time with this just because I had a lot of scratchy throat issues after being intubated with my surgery, and I didn't want to force myself to talk if I didn't feel like it, and some of these chapters are pretty long, so I just decided grace over guilt, and we're just taking our time with it. But anyways, this story follows Ember and her friends down in Antarctica, and there's something really special about Ember. I'm not going to give it away, but it's about how she helps her friends and she helps some ice dragons. So it's been a really fun read, and with our homeschool read alouds, these are books that are fun to read. They're not part of any assigned reading. We can take our time with them, and something we can just discuss. And it's part of the Read Aloud book club from Build Your Library, and I think it was December's selection. Our other book that's going to be our next read aloud comes from, I think it was February or March, I can't remember, but it's called The Creativity Project, and this is writing prompts written from famous or well-known authors and then answered by other well-known authors. So we're pretty excited about this, and then we're going to take our time with it because it's going to turn into a writing project for the last 6 weeks of our homeschool session this year. So lots of good fun stories in here. Next book I ordered from Amazon is Charles Dowding's The No-Dig Gardening Course 1. I haven't read this yet. I've got part of the way through, but it just explains his thoughts and process on how to do a no-dig garden. Reading this, I'm hoping that this is another way that we're able to reduce our grocery store budget this summer by growing our own produce. Now, we had a very small patio garden last year when we lived in Alaska, but the year before that and the summer before that, we had large gardens and we grew lots of food. So I'm excited about this. And the next book is called A Well-Kept Home. It is Household Traditions and Simple Secrets from a French Grandmother. Not just housekeeping tips in here, but also just how to make furniture wax or perfumes or sachets or something like that. The next book is Discovering Dahlias by Florette Farms. I actually pre-ordered this. I was really excited. I haven't got any of Erin's books from Florette, but I'd seen it promoted on a couple other YouTube channels, and it's just amazing. Inside, I got a signed copy and a little note card, a very beautiful bookmark, and even a pack of dahlia seeds. So I'm excited to get these in the garden as well. And that'll be another upcoming video, is seed starting, and that'll be very soon because I just ordered a whole bunch from Baker's Creek and they're on their way. Now for my library pile. Winter Keep. It's the third or fourth book. I believe it's the fourth book in the Graceland realm. And I really enjoyed Graceland, and I really enjoyed Bitter Blue, and I don't remember the other book's name. They were really good. Just a good, fun, young adult novel, just so you can get lost in it. My nonfiction pick is The Greatest Beer Run Ever. I'm not sure if it's going to be a Smokey and the Bandit type of story, but that's my favorite Burt Reynolds movie, so I'm pretty excited about reading this one. Picked out another gardening book from the library, and this is The Modern Cottage Garden. It's a fresh approach to a classical style, and I'm just really wanting to learn more about perennials and softening the formalness of our garden out front of our home. And I don't know if I've really mentioned this, but we bought 1940s Craftsman, and we're actually in a historic district of our new town. So it's not that I have to conform to any like one standard for our landscaping, but I really want a lot of pollinators and stuff like that. So I figured this book would help, along with Florette's Discovering Dahlias. And last book, y'all saw me mention this one on our second episode where I cooked one of the recipes out of here. But Ina's recipes, like, I know everybody jokes like, oh, if you can't find this, then this will do. But really, this one is a very back to basics. Like, if this is what's in your pandemic pantry, that's probably a better thing. Just, but like roasted butternut squash with brown butter and sage. I know that in my garden this summer, I'm going to have butternut squash and I'm going to have sage. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Don't think that we'll try shellfish and chorizo stew, but an idea to bounce off of if you want to incorporate something else. My oldest son, he's like, yes, Mom, chicken with the skin. So this crispy chicken with a lemon orzo sounds delicious. And I actually think I'll probably pick this up and own my own personal copy because I don't own any of Ina's cookbooks yet, but I think this might be my first purchase of hers. And then another recipe, lobster BLTs. Now, we're not big lobster eaters, and I can't think of the last time I ate lobster. It might have been 11 years ago at Red Lobster, and that's not saying like, hey, I had good quality lobster. But if I want to try it, this is a good recipe that we can jump off into, and it only calls for a ½ pound of lobster. So if we don't really like it, we're not spending a ton of money on something that we don't enjoy. So that's what I'm reading. What are you reading? Leave it down in the comments for me. All right, Ayden, help me close out this vlog.
See you later. Peace.
We'll catch you on the next one. Bye.